7 state employees here in Texas have been fired. They're accused of improperly accessing the accounts of thousands of Texans who get public assistance, things like food stamps and Medicaid. The data breach is one of the biggest in the history of the Texas Health and Human Services Commission. We're joined now by Terri Langford, the Health and Human Services reporter for the Texas Tribune, who looked more into this. Terri, thank you for being here. It's nice to see you.
Thank you.
You know, in your article, one word that really popped out to me is that you wrote that these firings are remarkable here in Texas. Why is that?
That's because the system itself, the way the state investigates welfare fraud, anything to do with public benefits, it concentrates on outsiders, your contractors, or the beneficiaries themselves. This time, we have a breach or people accessing information not for agency use, but they couldn't explain why they were doing it. And these are the state employees that every Texan pays for to handle sensitive material.
Now, I saw that the state sent out some notices to about 61,000 people who had their personal information mishandled by these state workers. How much is known about the impacts to them or their identities or even their credit?
We're in early days now, but the reason the notice is going out is, one, it's so wide, and they're still in the early days of the investigation. So far, they have fired 4 employees in this data breach, 3 in previous ones, and what they're doing now is offering 2 years of credit monitoring for all 61,000. To be clear, we don't know if any money is missing, anybody's identity has been stolen. All we know at this point is that they were accessing 61,000 accounts going back to 2021 and could not explain to their supervisors why they were doing so.
Well, even though this disclosure has now become public, what kinds of worries do you think that this should raise with people out there?
Well, I think for lawmakers, they're probably going to be asking, because the legislature is just beginning, or going to be asking questions about security and what we're doing inside the agency as well as outside the agency to make sure the people we're hiring are handling personal sensitive materials in a way that doesn't jeopardize anyone's credit rating or steals their identity. And that's what they're worried about right now. And that's why the notices are going out. But last year, 2 different state employees were fired after they had changed the PIN numbers of food stamp beneficiaries' Lone Star cards and started stealing money from them.
Well, you can read much more about that in depth on the Texas Tribune's website in Terri Langford's story. Terri, thanks again for joining us and for your reporting.